And good morning. A couple of things I want to talk about today. The first one I'm going to lead on with is Stan and their accessibility issues that I found on Sunday. Um, I tried using I unsubscribed from Stan, then a couple of weeks later, I resubscribed. And when I resubscribed, um, it came up with an edit field. So I typed in, I thought it was my email address. I tried flicking up and down, left to right, and I couldn't find out what the edit field was for. So I naturally thought it was for the email. So I typed my email address in and, hit enter, and it was actually the password. So it remembered my email address from my previous subscription. So it automatically put that in, and I was bumped down to the password section. And I tried to sign my daughter in, and it wouldn't allow it because it was a deactivated account. So I then got the computer and tried to find a contact link. There was no contact link. There was a information link that I used where I come up to a combo box where they had pre-typed questions that you wanted to ask. So I hit the control option space bar, didn't activate it. I hit the enter button, didn't activate it. So I interacted with the edit field and it still wouldn't bring up the combo box. So I just typed in, want to set my email, deactivated account, and the search results come up with nothing. So I did that a couple of times, rephrased it a couple of times. Then I went down to the help link and there was an edit field there where you could type in a question and somebody would respond within 20 minutes. So I typed out the same thing as I'd previously done, sent it off, and I waited 15, 20 minutes and didn't get no response. So I thought I may have done something wrong because it wasn't actually reading it out to me when I was typing into it. So I had to get my daughter around and she was watching me type the question in. She said, it's going in. I said, well, it's not telling me what's in there. So I resent it off and I waited another 10, 15 minutes for a response because I thought that like a text box would pop up with their answer or their question they wanted to ask me. Nothing happened. So in frustration, I sort of thought I'll leave it till Monday morning and I'll try and contact them then. Even though it said 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., 7 days a week. So, as I always do, I alt tabbed, command tabbed around to my email address, and lo and behold, there was an email there from Stan. So, I typed out a message. I was still really frustrated, said I wasn't happy with the accessibility. Um, Briefly told them what was going on, and I provided my phone number because they don't actually have a phone number to contact Stan. So I sent the email off and I thought, oh, well, they'll probably get back to me in like 24 hours or something. But as I was getting up to walk out of the office, my mobile phone rang. So I answered it and it was a young bloke, Nick, calling from Stan. He said he was calling from his own personal phone because they don't do telephone calls. They only do the help centre, which I'd already gone through. So I explained to him what was going on, and he apologised and understood that there were issues there, and they were going to look at it first thing Monday, and they would contact me on Tuesday. So I thought, oh, okay. So I ended up hanging up, and I never gave it another thought because honestly, I didn't think I'd hear from him because every other time I've done this, nobody gets back to you. But Tuesday afternoon, come around like 1 o'clock, 1:30 or something, Nick rang and he said he had the senior management there, Pat and I think Daniel, I think the other people were. So he asked me questions, which I answered. It's the stuff we went over on Sunday. He said, oh, look, we've had a look at it and there are some issues there that they had trouble with and they were cited. So I then explained that for those people who are looking at accessibility, they're sighted, so they can see what's going on and they know the layout. So they actually need to get someone who's never used the website or the app before to go in and use VoiceOver and try and access all the accessibility fields and all that sort of stuff. And we had a chat for about 15 minutes with Nick and the senior management people. They acknowledged that there were issues and that they were going to push this up to their accessibility team. And they apologised because, there were issues there. And I was really surprised on how receptive and respectful Nick, Pat, and Daniel were when I was talking to them. They promised that they would look into it and get back to me. And it was just a really good interaction and encounter with the senior management of Stan, Nick, Pat, and Daniel. It was a really good experience, and it was just a fantastic response by them all. And they were dedicated to improving the accessibility features. So I just wanted to let everyone know that Stan have gone really above and beyond what I thought they would do. Like I said, they were completely respectful. They were empathetic, and they're trying to be, you know, to have full accessibility for people. Um, they asked if there was anything that I would recommend, and I said, look, I understand why you don't have a phone calls like a call center where people can actually ring you. I understand the reasons why you don't do it, but for people with disabilities, I think it's essential that you have a phone number there, um, because people who are blind and use a screen reader, or um, people who are quadriplegic and they use a mouse stick to access the keyboard, they use sticky keys, and other disabilities as well. People with autism or whatever, they prefer to talk to someone over the phone rather than dealing with the call center via email or through the text part on the website. Um, they're going to think about it, but look, they were completely respectful. They were said they were going to address these issues and get back to me, and I do believe that they will. The encounter with him, I would give him 10 out of 10, and that's something I rarely do, is give people a 10 out of 10. Um, but they deserve that rating from yesterday. They've done really well. They really are focused on delivering an accessible service. They also asked me about the audio description function and on their shows that have it. I said, once you activate it in a TV series or a movie, it usually stays, but sometimes you have to go into each episode and turn the audio description on. So they're going to look at that as well. So well done, Stan and senior management. You've done a fantastic job. I was treated with respect, and they behaved in a dignified manner. So well done, Stan. 10 out of 10. The next one I want to talk about is the NDIS. Yet again, I've always had an issue with giving my personal information, my really personal, private information, my personal care information. Um, Prior to the NDIS, only myself and my doctor knew 100% of the things. Even my wife doesn't know everything. But I was forced to divulge my personal care information to the NDIA representative, and there was two LACs there and a support worker. And the information I was forced to provide, not asked, forced to provide, I was humiliated, embarrassed that these people now have found out my personal care information. Not only that, that information is now on their database. I should never have been forced to give up that information if I didn't want to give it up. Forcing me to give it up if I wanted to get on the NDIA is blackmail. And that's what the NDIA did. They blackmailed me to give up my personal care information. It should never have happened. A letter from my doctor should have been enough. To go deep dive in my personal care information is a breach of my human rights. I was humiliated on the day, and I've been angry about it ever since. And every time I raise it, oh, well, yeah, we have our strict privacy and confidentiality with all staff. And I've always said, bull. People talk, even though they're required to keep the information private and confidential. People breach it. I've experienced the breaches myself with other people. So what did I read the other day through Adam Morris's NDIS emailing service that I've been a part of for a few years? Adam's done a fantastic job in providing that service, Oz Discuss and VIP email service. He sent through the email about a breach of the NDIA database of 11,000 records that a NDIA staff member got a hold of, and in the email that it was provided to these other people who are service providers. I would bet my left testicle that that wasn't given, that information was bought and sold. The NDIA staff members been charged, and so has one of the service providers, and they've also been disqualified from providing services while they investigate. They should go to jail. They should go to jail. Personal information like names, dates of birth, service providers, and other information. How dare the NDIA and Bill Shorten minimise it, saying, oh, it's just the names and dates of birth and service. It doesn't matter. People's personal, private information is on that database, and that mongrel either gave it away, but I believe he sold it to these other people. They should go to jail. I know they're going to face charges, and from what I read, they're absolutely guilty. I know we're innocent until we're proven guilty, but they found evidence of that data breach. They should go to jail. 11,000 records. 11,000. And Bill Shorten said they're going to contact everyone who was affected. Not good enough. When you have people's personal, private information, you're responsible, Bill Shorten. You're the minister in charge. You're responsible. That is your portfolio. You are responsible for what happens with the NDIA. And if you hire staff that are bent, then that's on the NDIA senior management and Bill Shorten's responsibility. They can't comment because there's investigations going on. I don't care. People's privacy were breached. And how deep does it go? We are entitled to know because we are participants of the NDIA, and we have that right to know how far that breach has gone into. If an NDIA staff member can do it, what the hell can the Chinese do? And we all know that Chinese hacked Google and a few other places, and they've done it for a long time. And Google is still trying to work out how far they've gone and what information they've got a hold of. That was years ago. I am really pissed off. As a participant of the NDIS, I am pissed off. I am pissed off with the reaction of Bill Shorten. It's not good enough. Oh, we can't make comments because there's an investigation going on. Not good enough. He could have said, I'm outraged, I'm ropeable, I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen again. I'm going to get the Australian Federal Police into it. That's what I would have expected from Bill Shorten or the senior management from the NDIA. I would not that we can't make comments because there's an investigation going on. Blow it at your ass. How would you like your personal private information being breached, given away or sold? Bet you Bill Shorten wouldn't like it. Bet you the senior management wouldn't like it of the NDIA. Not good enough. Why are staff allowed to copy files from the database? I know down at a doctor's surgery, they have checks and balances. They know who's gone in there, what they've looked at, the staff, and the patient's records and files, and it's monitored. Why is the investigations team finding out after it's been done 11,000 records? Not good enough. What is the NDIA board and the IAC going to do about this? What recommendations are they going to put forward to make sure this doesn't happen again? What kind of auditing process is going to be put in place to make sure this does not happen again? It really pees me off that large organisations and local, state, and federal governments are more reactive than they are proactive. There's never a problem until it's made public. So, what's the auditing process? I'm going to ask Bill Shorten's office to reply to that question. I'm going to shoot him an email too. And the NDIA senior management. What's the auditing process to make sure this doesn't happen? To the NDIA board and the IAC. What has been the auditing process and what's going to be the auditing process after this data breach? So now the IAC and the NDIA board members get paid quite a good amount because I've been doing a deep dive on what they earn. And it's a good amount. It's well over 100,000. Well over. In some cases, it's over 250,000. Yet, those people trying to live off the disability support pension, trying to get access to funding for what they need, are being denied, even though they've provided reports. Yet the IAC, the NDIA board, senior management in Bill Shorten's office, they earn hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And we're supposed to survive on the disability support pension and get the funding that we need to access the services that we need. Not good enough. Nowhere near good enough. I'm so disappointed, and I am not surprised in the least. 11,000 records. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'm going to contact Bill Shorten's office. I'm going to contact the IAC and the NDIA board and the senior management of the NDIS to find out how it was done and what they're going to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. And I want to know what the auditing process is for people accessing that database. We have a right to know when that personal private information is displayed on their records for anyone to access it at any time, except the participants, the person on the street like you and I. Is there anyone making any comments or anything, Chris?
Oh, we've got Joe Black, who's come on, and he said that he can't find any mention of it on their website. We can send him a link.
Yeah, Joe, we'll put the link in there for you. Yeah, 11,000 records. And they've minutes and just names and dates, birth dates. But yeah, what else aren't they telling us? Bloody governments. We pay them a fortune and they still don't do their job properly. It's not hard. Anyway, I don't know if anybody wants to come up and have a chat about it. There's the link in the pinned up above the comment section there. Just hit that. Might just hang around for a bit, but yeah. Anyway, we're coming up to Christmas soon. Got just over a week. I don't know what it's like around the rest of the country, but where I live, we've had a heat wave warning. It's supposed to be up around 35 degrees Celsius. So for this area, that's quite hot. We're about 1,000 metres above sea level, so the air's quite thin and people burn quite quickly. Here, it's not like the coast where it's quite humid. Hopefully, be a nice warm day. No clouds, no rain on Christmas Day. The last few years we've had cold, wet Christmas Day. Hopefully, it'll be a good one this year. Yeah. So, all right. If nobody wants to come up and there's no questions, we might just leave it there. I've got other things to do. Oh, by the way, after I spoke with Judy Harper last week with the Justice Advocacy Service, I'm going to volunteer for it to help out. So I'll be doing that training January next year. I was really impressed with Judy Harper. The way she carried herself and the way she spoke about the service that they provide. I was so impressed with it. That's why I decided to volunteer with the JAS. Yeah, because I know people with disabilities, sometimes they lack confidence and they have the ability to stand up for themselves. So I don't mind saying things as they are or trying to help people. But anyway, all right.
But Joe's put another comment. He said there should be a contact number or email to get in contact if someone was worried or had questions about the data breach.
Yeah, Joe. Bill Shorten, the Minister of the NDIS, said they were going to contact all the peoples that were affected with the data breach. I still don't trust them. I don't think they're going to give out all the information of how far the breach went and what was actually released or sold. I believe it was sold, the information. We'll have to wait and see if people who are affected come out and let us know who contacted you, what the breach was, how far it went, all that sort of thing. It'd be great information to pass on to everyone. But yeah, Joe, it's they're going to contact everyone. So it's 11,000 records. So it'd be quite a few thousand people they have to contact.
Just at least they do have them. At least that's something.
Yeah, at least they did catch them, but it should never have happened. When you got your personal private information that you didn't want to give up in the first place on a database. Yeah, I know individuals have to hold themselves responsible for their own actions. And the staff member of the NDIA who either gave the information away or sold it, I believe he sold it, he's responsible. Other NDIA staff aren't responsible. It's that person. But being such a huge database and so much private information being held, you'd have to audit that regularly, and not have a special investigations team to look in now, try and find it. There's got to be a way that supervisors can audit their staff, and the managers can audit the supervisors. There's got to be ways to do it. Be proactive, not reactive. So, alrighty. I'll be doing a stream next week, and then there'll be nothing until after New Year's. So, because I use StreamYard and it's not accessible. If I could get bring people up out of the basement and onto the panel and drop them back down, then it would be fairly accessible. But at this stage, StreamYard is still working on it. Other parts are accessible, but those two things aren't. I think for me, they're the most important things. To be notified that there are people in the basement and to bring them up. So, all right, we might leave it there. I'll talk to everyone next week, and if I hear any more from Bill Shorten's office or the NDIA board or the IAC, I'll let everyone know next week. All right. Okay, we'll call it quits for today. Thanks for joining us, and I'll talk to you all next week. Thank you.